Previously. X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Yeah, you know, trip the rift, go where no man has gone before.
Trip the rift.
Well, we're tripping the rift here on X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. X-Rated Evolution.
Yeah, we know the drill.
Well, I'll skip the formalities then. Except for this one, where we introduce ourselves. I am one of your hosts.
Not enough sleep?
No, never. Not for years. But that's besides the point, because I have a co-host.
Like you've got a rash or something.
Well, similar feeling. But, no.
I think I've had just enough of these insults to my character, to my appearance, to my smell. Every week, Devin. Every week. You claim to be cherished co-host, a beloved friend, and then you just mock me incessantly. What am I supposed to do?
Now that boy knows how to work it.
Okay, fine. I forgive you. You're muted. Dead silent.
He knows how to work.
That's right.
You heard that sound effect, right?
Yes. Oh, wait. Yes, I did hear that one. Yes. That's why I said I forgive you.
All right.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
I know it so does. Yeah, we're your hosts, Evan and Andre, and we're here to review X-Men Evolution Season 2, Episode 13, at least according to the show wiki, but not according to Disney Plus, which it's now on here in Canada.
Oh, is it?
So, yep, as of a couple of days ago.
Oh, interesting. What does Disney Plus have it at?
11, I think.
Yeah. Well,
but it works well enough because they do reference another episode in this one, and that one was at least fell in our reviews before this. So
yeah, I think the order is correct on what we have anyway. But
yeah. Written by Greg Johnson and Craig Kyle, who are basically writing this entire season, and directed by Michael Chang, who is a newcomer, I believe. I don't think he's directed anything in the series up to this point. So yeah. The same old writers and a new director. Any opening thoughts on this one?
Well, it's a dance, and there's some shadows. Mm-hmm.
There are some shadows, and they have teeth.
Yeah. Interesting stuff in this episode, I must say.
We have a lot to talk about here.
We do have some matters to discuss pertaining to dimensions, meaning to how creatures breathe. Pertaining to all kinds, including one overtly sexual reference, in my opinion.
Really?
Well, in my opinion.
That gets there.
I may be dirty-minded, and you may think otherwise, but
was it something Boom Boom said?
No. Okay. Something Evan said, oddly enough.
Evan? Oh, my. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to it.
Oddly enough, I said that. Oh. Anyway, so we see the X-Mansion. This mansion, if you will. We see Rogue. Seeing Kitty come out. They're all going to a training thing. She mentions Kitty was up super late talking to Lance on the phone all night. Kitty's saying that they're talking about the Sadie Hawkins dance, which is coming up, in which the women have to ask the men to go to the dance.
Did your high school have a Sadie Hawkins dance?
We did not. Did you?
No, I think it's an American phenomenon. No.
My prom date did, however, ask me to go to the dance, to prom. So there you go. A woman had asked me before.
Oh, well, very good. Very good.
Although, it's his tragic story. Not really.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, not really. She hooked up with somebody else, and I felt sad about it. And that's about the extent of the story. See if
before, during, or after the prom?
After the prom.
Oh, okay.
At the after party. So it's
at the after party. Well, yeah. Not much after the prom.
no. It was like we weren't together. We were just kind of friends. So
okay.
no fault on her. just fault on me being.
Just made you a little bit sad in your heart.
That's right. I got over it. It's okay.
Okay, that's
Obviously,
you're
I'm
married
still
now.
about it 20 years later. But, that person's name, Tiffany. What's your wife's last name? No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding.
Well, we're married now, so same as mine.
Oh, when did you guys get married?
Like last year, remember?
What?
You were mad I didn't invite you.
All right, I am mad you didn't invite me. I'm still mad.
I figured you'd have a wrestling thing on or something.
Really? No, I would have done something. I would have, not necessarily. This is. I think we're all learning here, people, is that Davin really doesn't care about me outside of this podcast.
Wow,
Really?
wow, that's something. I just couldn't handle the rejection if I sent you a wedding invite, and then you're just like, no.
I would have
can't do it.
totally been there, dude. 100%. Well, I'll come.
I'll invite you to the next one.
I was going to say I'll come to the next one. Well, she took your last name, so anyway, Tiffany Skillmore. What was her maiden name?
Westwood.
Ooh, that's a cool one. That's a cool last name. She from around here?
No, well, yes and
You
no.
don't need to like divulge personal information that could get her like identity thefted. I was just curious.
Not
I don't
originally.
think I've ever met a Westwood before.
No.
Alrighty, so
From out west.
Kitty mentions that Rogue better get a move on and ask Scott, because it's obvious to her that Rogue has feelings for Scott. Rogue says she doesn't want to go because she can't touch if they dance. She touches them, blah, blah, blah. Although she could wear gloves, so she could do anything of manners. It doesn't mean, she has to touch her skin.
There's two characters in this episode in which they just assume no one will ever touch their face.
Yeah, or ever want to touch them or whatever. And you never,
No,
Anyway,
then
then-
Rogue, but Nightcrawler later too.
Yes, that is true. But then Jean tells him to hold the elevator and comes in. Look how Jean stands in an elevator. Look at this.
She's
this
just like super
low
cooler
arch
than
back.
everybody all the time. Yeah,
Just like that, like the biggest arch in the back. You can't see there. So the biggest arch in the back as possible.
yeah.
Like it's like literally pushing her chest out as much as she can.
Those two, like everyone sort of hates her for being too perfect, but then like she's super nice at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like no one ever like stays mad at her, or, like really, really begrudges her too much.
Kitty mentioned something to Jean about asking out Duncan to the City Hawkins dance. She says he might be surprised because she may surprise, like kind of her wording intends that she may not be asking Duncan. She
Well,
may be
this is
asking someone else.
this is the episode they referenced before. She's like, he already bought our tickets, because that was an episode we saw before.
That is true, but that was a while back now, I think.
Yeah, so maybe this one was supposed to come a bit sooner, but who knows? We're going with this order. It's
We
working.
also see the return of Forge, who has not been in the
Yay.
series since appearance in season 1.
I was glad to see it.
I guess he's acclimated to the 2000s, as he was trapped in a shadow dimension since the 70s.
And I love his 70s lingo too. Like, he's
Yeah, I think it's an interesting choice for him. But he's still got a puka shell necklace on, and he looks kind of like he's rated at Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I'm guessing they were watching. This is one of the few scenes that include Rogue, but she has Rogue Storm, but she has no words in it, no words whatsoever.
haven't been using Storm much at all, other than that Storm-centric episode this season.
And we discover that they're doing a test. Forge has a theory that when Nightcrawler teleports, he actually travels to another dimension.
We're getting a correction from Stephen E. Gordon. Not sure where you got the info who directed it, but Shadow Dance was directed by Boyd Kirkland.
Where'd you
Okay.
get that? Where'd you
Wow.
get- it says that on the
show
X-Men
wiki.
Evolution wiki, yeah.
So I don't know who makes this a show wiki though. Like,
No, it
where's
says
the-
Boyd Kirkland on the show wiki.
What?
Yeah, where'd you get yours from?
Where am I? I don't know. I'll let you know in a second.
Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, sorry, Steven.
Or
We
Steven,
didn't
sorry.
mean to mess that up.
Yeah, no, he totally.
No, yeah, X-Men Evolution.fandom.com. Is that the show wiki?
That's what I'm on for Shadow Dance. Underneath it says air date March 16th, 2002, and written by
Shadow
Boyd
Dance.
Kirkland, directed by Boyd Kirkland.
What? That's not what I have right here.
X-Men
I'm on this.
Evolution.fandom.com.
Yeah, I'm there right now, and it says Shadow Dance, directed by Michael Chang, written by Greg Johnson and Craig Kyle.
I don't know.
If I knew how to screenshot, I would screenshot it for
Well, you
you.
hit the button that says screen, screen cap, print screen.
there one?
Actually. Print screen.
Oh,
yeah.
print screen. Bang. Did it do anything?
But then you have to paste it into like a program. Anyway, it doesn't
Oh,
matter. But the
okay.
one I'm looking at right now, actually, look, I'll show you right here.
Okay.
I'll present my screen.
Oh yeah, I can just share my screen. I'll show you that.
Yeah, you can
later.
do that. All right, we're getting to it. This is an expose here, people.
Yeah, we're doing it. Well, look, I'm curious where the
I want to stop the screen and start mine.
discrepancy is.
Window. This one.
Okay.
See, look at mine.
Share.
Bring it up. Bring it up. See the truth, the horrible truth. Boom. Boy Kirkland.
Oh, I didn't click right into the episode. Okay, because look at mine. All right, we're removing yours and we're bringing up mine now. There. Can you see that? No, right?
Yeah,
No.
it's like just a Google screen.
Oh, whoops. How about now? Oh, hold on. I gotta share it again. All right, now check that out.
Yeah, sharing. All right. Wow. So if you go to the episode, shows it correctly. Even the date's wrong, too. That might be when it first aired. That might be when it first aired.
This is the show wiki, though. Like, X-Men Evolution.
I don't know. It looks different than mine. So click Shadow Dance.
Okay.
Let's scroll down. Yeah,
Oh,
there,
now
so
it
it's all
fixes
right
it.
there. Yeah.
All right, so I have to start going into the episode. So I might have been misinforming people on a lot of these episodes.
Well, I'm sure the folks can.
What is the last one?
Greg Johnson, Bob
Right.
Ford.
Oh, that's wrong too.
No.
Oh, none of this matches.
Well, it sounds like if you go. with the
Okay,
episode,
well, it
it's
looks
pretty
like
good.
I'm gonna have to do a bunch of corrections next
That's all good.
episode.
Well,
thanks
people
for
can go look it up.
Thanks for pointing that out, Steven. Now we know what's up,
Yeah, sorry about that.
and we'll make the corrections. So yeah, Boyd
That'd be a whole
Kirkland,
episode. I'll just take that
wrote
night off.
and
We'll just-
directed this episode, so we took all the shine off Boyd Kirkland on this one.
Yeah, well, if we're just
All
going
right.
to correct all those, I'll just not show up for that episode because it'll probably be
All right, well,
just be an
I
hour
am
of you
going to correct all
apologizing.
those, but it's only going to take me a couple of minutes. You'll
Should do it really fast, like whenever the news did or The Simpsons makes fun of, like when the news does. It's like the really quick scroll that comes like so fast you can't even read it. You have to like pause it real, like just to see anything. Do you want to share my screen back?
Yeah, I guess so.
So we see that basically here's a theory that Nightcrawler travels through a dimension in order to teleport where he goes, and that if they can somehow slow down when he's in that dimension, they may be able to find out more about it and also allow him to travel over greater distances. Thank you, Steve.
A forgiving soul, that Stephen Eagle.
All is good. Carry on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's it's a theory. They're going to send him through the portal and see how this works. They set it up for a reduced time and send them off. We do see Beast there too as well, which is cool. I like how lined up all of them all are here in the corner. It's almost like they're singing a Christmas carol in a church pew or something. It's just an animation.
Very
thing.
cool image.
We're
Yeah.
on one frame, but yeah, it does kind of So they sent him through, in which he is into a world of fire. At one point,
That dimension looks pretty cool.
it looks like hell. That's what it looks like. And Professor X even mentions that they believe that the place they teleports to maybe have primarily a atmosphere of sulfur because of the smell that comes when Kurt travels, which is funny. So then he does, in fact, travel to, I think it's Forge's old workshop, which is where Forge suggests he try to teleport to using this ability. He does make it there, and proving it was a success. But what he didn't notice when he was in there, which
No one has found this secret room in the school yet.
is that there are creatures. Yes, that's true. I love how there's just been a secret room in the basement of the school for 30 years that no one, that nobody has figured out.
Well,
No
the
one's found.
janitorial staff is not doing their job, I'll tell
I'll
you.
say. I
No
mean, it
one's
must have been pretty
cleaning that
musty and
room.
dirty, and there would have been a lot of rats probably living in there.
Mold maybe spreading from that room.
But there was a story somewhere about a group of people that knew about like kind of a hidden room in a mall, and they lived there secretly for several years before anybody discovered them, like for free. So that could be like somebody here is living in the living in the school. Very possible. So there's some kind of creature that Nightcrawler did not notice that was in that dimension that we'll see a little more of later. So we get the intro. We see the annual City Hawkins Girls' Choice Dance, and see what's happening in the world here. So We see Kurt asking Scott if he thinks Gene's going to ask him, and there's
My bad. I should never been like relying on a website anyway. I should just get my information right off the episode when I watch it. Who wrote?
Well, that's possible too. Yeah, that is possible.
Yeah,
that's all good. Hey, man, we all make mistakes. There's no biggie.
Yeah.
So Kurt describes his experience with Scott and Gene. He can't wait to go back because he thought it was so cool. Gene leaves but says she wants to talk to Scott at lunch at the quad. Kurt kind of mentions
what does quad stand for? That's not a term we use for like outside of the school here in Nova Scotia.
Quadratical?
Like the quadrant?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it stands for.
The student relaxation quadrant?
Well, yeah, that implies that there's 3 other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where are these 3 other areas, and why does nobody ever hang out there? That's what I want to know.
A square space outside with buildings on all 4 sides is what a quad is.
Buildings on so it's just like
so it's like in the center. Yeah, it's like the little park. It's like in a hospital. They always have
like in the Pentagon.
Yeah. So I guess it's covered all 4 sides. What they call
except with 4 sides instead of 5, I assume, like in the Pentagon.
Yeah, well, like in hospitals, they usually have like a green area in the middle that's kind of like encapsulated by the building. So that would be a quad as well.
They do. All right.
So Gene leaves. He wants to talk to Kurt. Kurt believes Gene's going to ask Scott to the dance, but Scott dismisses that, saying Duncan's taking her. He asks Kurt if is Amanda. Kurt mentions Amanda, a girl in his math class, and he thinks that she's going to ask him today. And Kurt says Kurt knows she likes him through friends, but he says she's pretty shy. But he's holding out hope. So
are you cool enough? Were you cool enough in high school to always?
I was not cool enough to. You don't even got to finish that sentence. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. No, I was not that cool in high school.
You didn't keep your hands in your pockets. You kept them free.
No,
free flowing.
I mean, I put hands in my pocket. Something that makes you cool.
Well, it's pretty cool. Look how
I think the ripped jeans.
Pretty cool on Avalanche. I think
Look at this '90s attire. I mean, cargo pants with the old the pockets.
I mean,
on the side.
I still probably landscape in those.
Yeah, but you look like you're some kind of right-wing military person. That's kind of part of your image. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying you look that way. If I saw you, if you pulled up,
I have never been mistaken for such a thing in my life.
If you pulled up in a pickup truck and my car was down the side of the road, and I would be looking for bumper stickers that are like Trump bumper stickers, so it tells me God bless America or something.
You look far more military.
I'm kidding. You look well. Like, see, that's the thing with the modern day. You could either, I probably do as well. I definitely. There's a reason why I'm always cast in like TV shows and film around here. It's like a skinhead or like a gang member. No, like that's the thing about modern day. It's like hipster or hippie. Well, hippie and hipster are kind of the same.
There's a lot of crossover now because everybody has beards.
Yeah. Like a lot of the crazy like people that are like the preppers and stuff kind of look like you as well. That's not necessarily knocking you. You look great, but
preppers. You mean like a doomsday guy? Like
like guys who hoard a lot of guns
somewhere?
And weapons and stuff, or don't particularly like the government and maybe stockpile guns.
Don't like the way you're talking about my bunker.
I'm sure it's a lovely bunker, and I hope if things go south, I could stay in said bunker. But I'm just saying.
I don't have a bunker, but if the apocalypse happens, I'm gonna be the guy who still has food. So
I'm pretty sure my dad's that I'm probably gonna run to if he's still around. Because
he grow food too.
Oh yeah, and hunts. He has like bow and arrow. He's got tons of bows and arrows and hunt traps and everything else.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Lots of guns. Well, like hunting guns, like shotguns and all that stuff. But
lots of guns.
Just hunting guns. But he mostly he has a lot of bow and like compound bow and stuff and traditional bow, which he's gotten quite good at over. He's been doing that for a long time.
Hunting, eh? Well,
yeah, no, he's the deer, bear, moose. He's got everything. I don't know if he shot the moose with the bow and arrow.
What are you going to do with a bear? You don't eat that.
He does it. He did that many, many years ago. And I don't know. He may have. I know I do,
but it's like they're very full of worms and.
Yeah, I mean, he got a rug out of it, which I know is not the best reason to hunt. But he does generally. He doesn't really sport hunt. He mostly only. It's all deer and duck and fishing and stuff. He eats pretty much everything he catches.
Oh, like my mother's grandfather, I remember it vaguely, had like a corpse room where you'd go in and like there was just heads of everything like hanging off the wall.
Yeah, Dad's got like a deer head and a bear rug, and that was it. I mean, I hate the bear rug, but it's there.
Do you vacuum it?
No, he keeps. Yeah, they must. I guess.
Like, you just beat it. Like you just take
We,
the
when I
bear out
did-
and beat it clean after what you've done to it already.
When I did the play a few years ago, the one where I played like sort of a big game hunter in it, I borrowed it so you put it on stage as part of the set, which is cool. So anyway, Kitty gets up the nerve to ask Lance, and Lance is kind of coy and says, "You have to think about it." And he takes like a step away and then says he's thought about it, and yes. And then he says,
Do you think he was just playing cool, or do you think he just had some nerves there? He was,
No, I think
maybe I'll say no. Maybe
I think it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
But then he's so excited she asked him, and the floor rocks, like, and Kitty can tell, so she smiles, which is a nice moment, because he couldn't control his pleas. He was so excited his powers came out for a minute and made the room shake. What are we at here? Sorry,
He's just like this, like cool, like exchange student with the accent. Like he'd have tons of people asking him to the dance.
Back in class, Kurt notices that Amanda's looking at him.
Yeah.
But
We're going to talk about her later in the X points.
Amanda wondered, is she actually a character from the comics?
Oh yeah, we didn't get her last name in this episode, but I'm quite certain. Yes.
Okay, cool. Amanda wondered a lot. As he's leaving, Amanda wonders aloud if he's asking when the dance yet. After a few tense moments, Amanda asks Kurt, who says yes. Both are dumbstruck, and Kurt promises to call. She promises to call him later.
So it was like, but okay. So they're super shy and they barely talked before. How does she have his number?
She knows he's at the mansion. I'm guessing maybe the mansion has an accessible number that everybody can call. Maybe. There's a few little continuity things like that in this.
Explain that though. So like all the other kids in the school know that Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, and like Rogue all live at this mansion for some reason.
Exceptional students. I don't know what else they're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're going to say they're all geniuses. Hopefully they can pass it off in class and such.
So if you're really good at school, you get to live in a mansion that's also a school. So you
or
do
maybe
more
it's
school.
people without parents. I don't know. Maybe they pretend to be orphans. I don't know. I didn't write the show, man.
I mean, most of them are orphans. Rogue,
Yeah.
Scott, Nightcrawler.
But I mean, School for the Gifted is kind of what I'm not sure of what it's. I can't remember what they're called exactly here. It's just
Jean's parents, I think, love her, but
the rest.
yeah.
Scott's dad's being a space pirate somewhere, and Kurt's
doesn't
mom
give a
is
shit.
Steve.
He's got no shits to give. Maybe I should go back and check on my kids.
nah, they're fine. Well, he thought they all died, so that's convenient,
He didn't bother.
I love it's like, oh no, my whole family died. What am I gonna do? I'll just stay
Space piracy.
and become a pirate.
I mean, that's not a bad choice, to be honest.
I mean, I couldn't. I don't know. In this world, I don't know if I could see that happening, like that being a space pirate in the Share Empire and all that. But anyway,
Maybe not. But I feel like it is going to get a little more wild here near the end.
no. Well, yeah. Once old Apocky shows up,
Yeah.
shit's gonna hit the fan, I think. So back at the Institute, so yeah, they agree to go together. It's a nice, sweet, tender moment. They go back to the Institute.
Yep.
And if Steven's watching, he can jump in with if he has answers to any of our questions. So
We always appreciate any commentary from
sure
Stephen
do.
E. Gord.
So back at the Institute, Forge, Xavier, and Wolverine will go over the data from Kurt's jump. They discover that besides a toxic atmosphere, there are organic molecules present. Wolverine looks at the tape and they notice a creature in the shadows, which you can kind of see on the screen there. Kind of looks like one of those chocobos from the Final Fantasy games. Those like birds you ride.
I've
like
never
one of those-
played much Final Fantasy.
It's like one of those mixed with like a.
Can you relate it
Tyrannosaurus
to
Rex.
Chrono Trigger somehow?
Are there like some things that look like chickadees with big beaks that are the size of ostriches that you can ride? Because that's like a chocobo.
No, not really.
Well, that's what they are. So Wolverine looks tape, sees the creature. Xavier feels the creature poses a threat to Kurt and recommend that Wolverine.
See, in
goes to
that
Kurt
shot,
and makes
Wolverine looks quite short.
Yeah, it kind of depends.
Comes and goes.
Yeah. Okay. I think it is just my dirty mind now. So back, but I still
convinced yourself.
I still do think. No. I'm talking about what's coming up, but I still do think.
What did he say?
Well, I'll get there. So this is where it happens. So back at the school, Kurt's freaking out,
Drinking his milk.
that if Amanda gets close to him, and Spike points out. Spike does. It says in the recall that Spike points out if they hold hands. He doesn't say that. He says, "Yeah, she'll feel 2 furry fingers," and that's all he says. And then I was like, "How does that work?" But then I realized that he has only 2 large fingers.
Yeah.
So I thought it was.
You're just being dirty.
A little bit, but that's.
But you could take it either way.
Yeah. Because like he didn't say if they hold hands, and of course I forgot that he has only 3 fingers. So that, but the way he said it did very much seem like it may turn out of a sexual nature, and I thought that was kind of funny. But as we come to find out, that doesn't seem to bother her. So
I like that they're still keeping the milk gag going there.
Oh, yeah, that milk gag is going hard. Look how wide this box looks right here. So it's just like a weird angle. It's because of like it's supposed to be 3-dimensional, but they kind of hit it into him, so it just looks like a really weird shaped box of milk.
Yeah, it looks more like one of those like Happy Meal boxes or something.
Also, this is a continuity error that I noticed earlier, and I was going to make as an X point.
Oh,
so what is Scott doing right now?
Like twiddling his thumbs? Like I don't know what he's doing.
He's peeling an egg.
Oh, okay.
He's
just eating a hard-boiled egg.
Yep. And then when it cuts away to Spike saying the 2-finger thing, it cuts back. And what does he got now?
He's eating a sandwich. Yeah. Well, maybe he ate his egg.
I mean, and then it's pretty fast.
Or was that like just a split second later?
Like it's like it just cut to Spike saying his line and cut back, and Scott has a sandwich.
But was there a zoom in on Spike? Did it even cut away from that seed?
Well, it's only because I'm hitting this because it jumps ahead like 2 seconds. Actually, 10 seconds. So it goes from 6:39 to 6:49. So it cuts ahead 10 seconds when I do this.
So there is a little zoom in on Spike.
Yeah, it just did a show like a full screen of him where he says something.
It doesn't take long to eat a hard boiled.
But here, look, let's watch and you decide.
Where did he get the sandwich?
Let's watch for 10 seconds and you decide.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was plenty of time to eat a hard-boiled egg, but the question remains where
the sandwich comes from.
Yeah,
but he just says
it's a big sandwich.
Yeah, it's really he's well. I mean, he's how much is Scott eating? He's got eggs, he's got sandwiches. I mean,
it's what a funny thing though, just to have this like high school student there like cracking a hard-boiled egg. There's
a TV show. It's a really great British show called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, and it's
I'm familiar. I've seen quite a bit of it.
I'm a huge fan. It's only 6 episodes, but it's great. And there's it's supposed to be like a shoddily made show from the 80s, full of continuity errors and mistakes like this. And there's one scene where Richard Ayoade's character, who's actually the manager of the actor, because they intersperse the replays of the old episodes with the actors now talking about being on the show. And Richard Ayoade is actually the manager of the main guy that he just put in the show. And he's not an actor. They've said this several times. He's terrible on the actual show. But there's a scene where he's holding a corpse explodes and he's holding a shovel and a coffee cup and he's yelling at the guy, and then it cuts back to him. It's like a water cup, like one of the paper ones. And then it cuts back to the guy when they're arguing. It cuts back to him. He's holding a shovel. It cuts back to him, water, back to him, shovel. And then at the very end, when the guy storms off, it cuts back to him. He has the water, the little water cup, and he just crushes it like the coffee cup, like in anger. It's really, really funny. It reminded me of that. So yeah, I think that was an error, but whatever.
Just so like have him eat something, and then when they cut back, have him eat something again.
So Kurt almost calls it off, and Scott tells him just to wear gloves. Kurt's wary of it, but Scott tells him that whenever people ask about his glass, he tells me it's an eye condition. No one really asks any further than that.
But that's like way different because they're telling him to tell her that he has a rash, which is kind of. But
Scott's also got a point. He's saying don't like limit your experience because of fear. Like you go.
No, that's a great advice, but like there's a difference between having an eye condition and like going on a date and having a rash on your hands.
Yeah, he suggests perhaps saying that. Spike points out the Gene's coming in to talk to Scott. I think we missed that. So Scott points out the Gene's coming in to talk to Scott. But as she does, Taryn comes in and asks Scott to the dance. Scott does notice.
We get her name?
Taryn. It's the one he's with before.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. The one he was with before in other episodes.
Okay.
So she sweeps and asks Scott to dance. Jean sees this, and Scott registers that Jean's upset by seeing this. And Jean turns before she gets to the table, and Scott sees that, but then I think he doesn't want to hurt Taryn's feelings, so he says yes. Risty and Rogue are watching this, and Risty says, Rogue missed her chance too, and Rogue said she wasn't going to go. And then Risty sort of says that they should go together because she wasn't going to go.
She doesn't want to invite anybody. Yeah.
Although it does seem a little like Risty's into her, but I know Risty's actually her adopted mom, so I don't think it's really meant. I don't think it's meant to translate that way. To me, it kind of did if I didn't know. But we do know that Risty's really.
Oh, I think it's meant to translate as in like.
Although this show is out of order,
not interested in teenagers.
If this isn't the correct order, then Risty not being Mystique, we wouldn't know that yet. So we only know it from that one brief episode, where they're the arcade episode, I think. But anyway,
well, I think we're supposed to know at this point.
Perhaps so. So we notice the rift. The rift starts forming in Forge's lab. We'll come to learn a little bit more about that later. So after school, Taryn tells her friends how excited she is to go out with Scott.
It sort of leaves some questions there, though. It's just like, because is it that they can always follow him out, and they just had time to actually see him to do so? And
well, we don't even know that there's more. Like, they don't even see them yet. So because they don't know about them yet at this point. But I know what you're saying. No, I think it was because of the nature of the device that they attached to Kurt. Is how they can get out. So she's excited about going to school with the school dance thing. They run into Jean, try to talk to her. Jean gives them a cold shoulder. They point out that Jean's so jealous because Taryn's going with Scott. I feel like if this, I can kind of predict. Well, I'm going to predict whether I'm right or not. I mean, only time will tell. But the idea that showing these humans get close to the mutants will really be interesting once they know they are mutants. So, like, Taryn suddenly rejecting Scott and thinking he's a monster, or Duncan doing the same to Jean, which seems more likely. All seems kind of where they're headed with this. But,
well, there's a big status quo change in that regard at the end of this episode.
I don't know about the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Nightcrawler straight up tells Amanda that.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that. There's
teleports
that.
her around.
Yeah, I thought you meant like other people besides just one person.
Well, no, but that's the beginning. Like, they're starting to come out to humans as mutants.
Yeah, but she knew long before that because they're
True.
sloppy.
True,
Very
but like,
sloppy.
Which makes you wonder. It's just like, who else has seen their sloppy mutant chicanery?
I like that Taryn does point out when they're like, "Oh, she's so jealous that you're going with Scott," and Taryn says she had lots of chances to go with Scott. I thought that was, and it's true.
Point taken. They live together.
So the Brotherhood House.
Apparently, everybody knows they live at this mansion. So
that's true. So the Brotherhood House, the gang's giving Lance a hard time. She's going to dance with Kitty. Blob and Toad boast they wouldn't be caught dead at the dance, but then Tabitha says she's thinking of going. They're asking Blob. Toad volunteers to go. Pietro kind of makes fun of them, calling them pathetic. He claims Tabitha. She's asked why he wouldn't want to go with her. He says she's too slow for him. He can dance with 4 girls at the same time. Also possibly a sexual reference. Tabitha declares everyone's going, and which makes Lance a little happy. So they're all going to go to the dance. Then we see all the X-Men together reviewing the footage. Xavier wants to run.
a bit of a player, as we'll see later.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's great. He's a great character. Everyone else sees data from Kurt. Yeah, but he also can't tell the world he's a mutant, so he can't be like he's like the Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, where he just has like 3 different dates at the same dance. He's just running around trying to pretend like he doesn't have multiple people.
That was a reference.
Could have been. I mean, that show. Well, I mean, the show was the 90s, but one of my favorite things recently, just a sidetrack, is that Mark Paul Gosselaar was on some show and he asked somebody if they'd ever seen the Zach Morris's Trash videos from Funny or Die. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Or it's Funny or Die or College Humor. But anyway, they do this segment called Zach Morris's Trash, where they do like a little 5-minute video walking through an episode of Saved by the Bell where they explain why Zach's like a horrible person. And like the episode where he finds out he has indigenous blood, and he goes and he kind of just dresses up like a stereotypical Wild West sort of Native American, and he's really doesn't understand anything about it, and kind of really makes an ass of himself, and then goes talks to like a real elder from the tribe that he's supposed to belong to. But like all of the stuff, like all of it is him kind of being an asshole. Or like the episode where there's a girl that he's dating and he didn't know. He asked her out and he didn't know she was in a wheelchair. And then like the whole thing is him trying to like kind of almost like do too much for her to make up for the fact she's in a wheelchair, and is always kind of half apologizing about it to people. Just making her feel bad. Like it's full of stuff like that. If you watch that show. But Mark Paul Gossmer's like, no, this thing is hilarious. I love it. It's 100% correct. Zach Morris the horrible person. And goes from there. Anywho. So at the Institute, everyone sees the data from Kurt's jump. Xavier wants to run more tests. Kurt doesn't want to. Forge points out he's jumped countless times before, and the creatures haven't bothered him, so he thinks he moves too fast through the dimension before. But they send Wolverine with him to protect him. So in the danger room, Kurt and Wolverine prepare for the jump. Kurt chooses the destination of the gym so he can see the dance decorations, and that's convenient for later. In the other dimension, they do see the creatures running around. Kurt says he doesn't think they're dangerous or violent, but then they quickly become violent, coming in to attack them, and they have to defend themselves.
Because they don't like Wolverine. Like
when I first saw the outline,
you got to get violent with. You know,
when I first saw the outline of the creatures, I was really hoping they'd be like a subtle reference to Devil Dinosaur, but then when you see them closer,
I thought Devil Dinosaur too.
Yeah, but just because we love Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, it's true.
Have
you checked any of that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur TV show?
No, I like the comic though. I'm more sad about the sweeping under the rug. I'm more sad about the sweeping under the rug of poor Moon Boy. It's such a long storied history with Devil Dinosaur just gets cast aside for Moon Girl.
He had his time in the sun, in the spotlight, you know.
So anyway, Wolverine's hurt from the thing. Kurt doesn't want to ever teleport again. Xavier comes to get him. And
totally nerfs his mutant powers if that's his like opinion though. Like that's it, man. That's your power.
Xavier also can drive a car, as we see. But I don't see usually vehicles that are driven by people with they can't use their legs have
a thing there.
Steering wheel. I don't see that.
Yeah,
but whatever. It's a few.
My babysitter growing up was in a wheelchair and had one of those.
Oh wow! Did you have stairs in your house?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I wasn't babysat at my own house.
Oh, I see. I was going to say, if you didn't want to listen to your babysitter, you could just run upstairs or run downstairs and be a dick.
He had an elevator.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Took him off his deck.
Who was this mysterious gentleman?
Well, him and his wife were my babysitters growing up. Man, they were next door neighbors across the street.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings? I don't know if you ever had this conversation before.
Yeah. 3.
Wow, that's a lot of siblings. What do they do? Are they all hippie doomsday preppers like yourself?
That's a conversation that'll take a lot more time. We'll do that on Graphic Histories Part 2.
Are you not close with them?
Not really.
Okay, that explains that. All right, so Kurt refused to go. So Forge pleads his case, but Xavier states Kurt doesn't have to put himself in any more danger. It's fine. Forge apologizes. We're going to ask what the odds are of creatures following Kurt back into our world, and they say it's never happened before, so probably slim. Of course, we all know that's going to happen. So the dance principal, Kelly's watching out over everybody. We see everybody kind of in their dances doing their thing, what they look like when they're in a social setting, or at least a...
Look, Lance is cool, man. He's got a good suit.
Yeah, he's got a good suit.
Like a little bit loose fitting.
I actually like it. I like this relationship between these two. I hope.
Me too.
Yeah,
they're delightful. They're very cute. They stay up in the night talking to each other and stuff. Very nice.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And Lance isn't a bad guy, other than that time he flipped out at that football game or whatever.
Told the whole world means existed.
Yeah, it wasn't his best moment. But here comes old Playboy with 4 girls.
Yeah, we see he's right. He does have 4 girls. So Kurt, there's slow dance. Kurt apologized for having to wear gloves, saying he got a rash, and it's probably because he was nervous to be with her. So
but again, he wasn't thinking maybe she'll like during a dance touch my face, which is totally reasonable.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Slow dance or something.
Yeah, I mean, ish. It's a bit close if you're not gonna kiss, but I mean, why would he expect that's not gonna happen?
I guess so. Well, you want to touch someone's face, a little face.
You don't really just touch faces until you're like more.
You don't touch faces. I'm going to
first
touch
date
your
if
face next time we're.
I think kissing someone would be a precursor to touch. I don't think you touch a face until you did that, unless there's something on their face or something, or they got hurt.
Like,
you know,
you're just talking.
No, you don't just pet people when you're talking to them, Devin. It's not normal human behavior.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
So anyway, Amanda says she doesn't mind. She's glad Kurt asked him. We see Duncan's kind of being a jock jerk, talking to his friends, ignoring Gene, who was unhappy.
He doesn't dance. He's too cool for school.
He's too cool for school. So Jean's left watching Scott uncomfortably dancing with Taryn. Risty tells her she looks like she'd rather be out there dancing with Scott. Jean agrees.
Look at this orange
Scott would
robe get up.
Yeah, I like that outfit. I think it's supposed to be like sheer because you can see her through it, right? See how you can see like her midsection.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, she wears that kind of stuff generally.
Yeah.
It's like rather than her green sheer.
So Gene says at least Scott would have danced because Duncan's not dancing. Rogue shows up and Risty says that she'll find some guys. Rogue didn't think that's what they're going to do, but then Risty says, how could they not be with her, be interested in them? Then a Fortune lab, we see the rift expand and a creature come out. In the gym, Amanda confesses she knows Kurt's secret. Kurt denies it.
Ever find his parents? Like, whatever happened with him? Why does he not live at the mansion? He's like out of time by.
Maybe he's found his parents, although they're
super old.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're probably like in their 60s or 70s. So maybe something happened, they died, and maybe
he's taking care of them because they're infirmed.
Maybe he is at the mansion. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
So we noticed back in the day. So yeah, she says she knows that he has another face, and he kind of brushed it off like he doesn't know what she's talking about. She says whenever he's ready to tell her. This is where she touched his face, and she would have felt the fur.
There it is.
But
it happened. I missed that.
No, she does. She does touch his face. That's what I thought in the episode is he wears the gloves. You know what's also funny about the gloves and the image inducer is how does he look when he holds a pencil? Because the image inducer, based on this appearance right here, makes it look like
he always keeps two fingers together. He always
keeps his two fingers together.
I love that they do that. I always remember to show that detail too.
How does he hold a pencil? You'd have to hold it like this. That to be like
you can hold your pencil with your thumb and your big finger, right?
No, but you'd have to he only has one place between his two fingers that he can hold it with his fingers because he only has two fingers.
No, he can just grip it. He can just grip it by the husk,
like this.
Yeah, exactly like that. No, not with all four, but with the thumb and the one big finger, the first one big finger,
like this.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's how he does it.
It'd still be hard to write. Well, I guess you can write. It's better than it's. Yeah, it's not this, which most people do, but two furry fingers.
I would still rather write like him right-handed than try to write left-handed and just smudge ink all over my hand.
Well, that's possible. So we do see it during the danger room. They notice a creature coming out of a rift in the danger room, which is where Kurt had teleported before.
Blob's tired.
We see Blob and Toad are tired from dancing all night with Boom Boom, who's tired.
Boom Boom is hard to keep up with.
Mm-hmm. They see a creature emerge from the lab that stabs them in the bathroom, and it pounces at them. We also see a rift opening in the middle of the school dance, which at first Kitty asks Lance what he did, and he said it wasn't him. And then we see these creatures come out, and Principal Kelly's had one hell of a first year as principal at the school. I got to tell you,
I'm still waiting for him to break bad, Andre.
He's going to 100%.
All right.
I'll make you a bet of a lot of money right now that this is going to happen. And I assure you I did not look it up. I'll make you a gentleman's bet for no money that he's definitely going to be a bad guy in this series.
All right, here's a gentleman's bet.
And he is a stand-in for Senator Kelly, 100%.
So he's going to break crazy bad somehow.
I don't know about crazy bad. He's definitely going to be a bad guy of some kind, or he's going to treat the mutant students terrible or be some kind of racist towards them. I guarantee you.
All right. Well, if I win,
I haven't said what happens.
I'm not convinced he's not going to break bad either. Let me think about that.
I definitely think he's going to be a bad guy.
But it's been like they never hint at anything. They're not like there hasn't been the slightest hint that he's going to do that.
Yeah, there was. Remember when they said the one where they kind of fixed everybody's memory of the events, and they said they're not sure if it took with Kelly, and it showed him looking out the window menacingly.
Did he look out the window menacingly?
Not menacingly, just showed him looking out the window. So like they left a hint that that it didn't take, and then he may still have some lingering memories about their abilities.
Interesting. Okay. All right. we'll see where it goes.
So anyway, everyone just gets all the regular students around the rest of the students. The X-Men try to fight them off. As they get cornered by one of the monsters, Amanda begs Kurt to make them disappear like he did before. He doesn't know how she knows, but he does teleport her away. Then we see the rest of the students get in a fight in the school. Risty does save them from one of these creatures using a Rogue is good at
Call them
using
Devil
powers.
Dinosaur.
I'm not calling them that. They're not meant to be Devil Dinosaur.
Okay.
So Risty still doesn't know they have powers, but she does that. Well, she does, but they don't know she does. So she uses the fire extinguisher to deal with one of the creatures for Rogue can touch it and try to take its power. So you don't know how that's going to work. Then we do see that the rest of the mutants ran into one.
I like Toad suit.
Yeah, I know. Toad, I do like Toad on the show. His voice does annoy me a little, but I'm warming up to him a lot.
I think his voice is great.
So we do find out that she, at one point, when Kurt was not being very careful, she saw him take his true form.
I'm determined to get the Toad voice actor on the show.
Sure, why not? So she saw him turn back his regular form and teleport away, and she's kind of fascinated with it. He shows her real form, and she is not horrified. She likes it. So that's sweet. Although, I think
she likes the Fozzie dude.
But there may be more to this because, I don't know. Wouldn't you ask your question, why do you look like this?
Hey, don't doubt the fuzzy one.
Don't doubt the fuzzy one.
So anyway, basically, this happens pretty fast. But the Ford shows up with the inducer thing, and these guys. It's funny because they come across the Brotherhood, or just Toad's just sitting on, or Toad and Blob are just sitting on one of the creatures and can't move. And they're like, "You guys got this?" Yeah, we got it. But then Ford shows up with the inducer, and Toad recognizes it. The portal maker says it's been altered.
I've seen that before.
He said it's been altered, and they send the creatures back and seal up the rift, which is what happened from using it. But then yes, we do see that she saw Kurt take his real form, teleport, shows her real form, and she likes it, and offers to go buy ice cream. And he says she's going to regret that later because he probably eats a lot of ice cream. And I mean, when you ask why do you look like this? I love the acceptance.
They're going to go get ice cream.
I love the acceptance thing, but you literally have to explain. Wouldn't that be so to be like, oh yeah, mutants exist. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on the planet, probably millions, that all have a strange and different abilities than you. And it's
Well, look, we're going to talk about her in a minute. So let's first, why don't we rate this episode?
How shall we proceed, sir?
By making a call.
I'll go first. I was thoroughly entertained by this episode, actually.
Yeah,
I'm going to give this one a 9.
I agree. That's good.
It was fun. It was just a lot of fun. The characters, a lot of these characters are pretty great. It's any downsides we've found in the show are generally not with the characters. It's usually just with stakes and things like that. But yeah, this one's good. And there's the relationship stakes in this one. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, 9. Good job, Boyd Kirkland, writing and directing this one.
Yeah, 9. 9, I'd say 9. It's pretty great.
All right, well, let's move on.
Also, Kurt.
There's no point.
There's no point. There's 10 of them. What were you gonna say?
Shoot. Oh, Kurt seems to got over his fear of teleporting pretty fast. Because he teleported through, with her, and then at the end they teleport off together to get ice cream. So I guess he's okay with moving through the dimension so fast the creatures can't bother him.
Well, my first.
Oh, the character's last name is Sefton, Sefton.
Yeah,
that is who you were thinking of. Right.
Yeah. Oh, they did say that, did they?
Well, no, it's credited as such in the credits.
Okay, well, I might as well go to my next point. Yes, it's Amanda Sefton. As soon as he said Amanda, I was like, oh my God, it's Amanda Sefton. So he dates Amanda Sefton for a long time, kind of off and on in the comics.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So she's just a normal person?
But
so
there's more.
Okay.
No, that'll be my next point. You go ahead.
That's your first point?
Yeah.
I was going to point out that in the episode, Fred is still bald. That's what I was wondering about the way the
Yeah.
timeline goes, because
Yeah.
she shaved his head. It wasn't only a couple
A few
episodes ago.
ago.
It was Walking the Wild Side when she
It
did
was
that.
Walking the Wild Side. Yeah, so like 2 or 3 episodes ago. So yeah,
So
Origin.
I think this order is correct. I think maybe the Disney Plus one is not.
maybe they had the TAS order wrong until people complained.
Yeah, well, there you
And
go.
they fixed it. So maybe. All right. Well, my next point. So Amanda Sefton is actually like kind of like a witch, and it's funny, and so it gets weird. So they dated for a long time, Amanda and Nightcrawler, but they were also raised together as siblings.
Do you ever watch Clueless?
Yes.
She winds up with her former half-brother or stepbrother at the end of that episode. So, who are we to judge?
Well, okay.
Is it okay
and that's
to
not
date-
even her real name.
Is it okay?
Amanda
Is it okay
Sefton. I
to?
forget what it is, but it's something entirely different.
Let's get into the moral quandary of dating, possibly having a sexual relationship with your stepsister. What do you think about this, Dev?
I don't think I'm for it.
No.
Nah. I think there's a lot of fish in the sea, Andre.
Yeah, but when you're young and you're dumb.
Don't go fishing in your own fish bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I also discovered. I guess we can't go too deep into this world, but you know how we did like all the X-Men adaptations and watched all the movies. We forgot about one particular subgenre of films that definitely has a few X-Men movies in it. Devin, can you think of such a genre?
Is there like is there, especially since we're called X-rated, should we really have covered this?
No,
genre?
because I'm sure it's just what you'd expect it to be, which is just people having sex but in costumes that look like X-Men characters.
For a very
But
small amount of time before those costumes are removed.
I'm curious as to what, like, how many of them there are. I mean, obviously, it's probably called Sex Men or Triple X Men or something, which would seem to be the obvious. But anyway, if you're a fan of said movies and want to let us know your identity, then feel free to drop in your
Sure,
review.
we'll have you on.
But I don't know if we want to have you on. Just send us a note, something. All right, so back to me. That's not an X point. That was just something I thought about today, which made me laugh. Yeah, my next X point. Xavier deduces, and you do studies to prove that there's toxic. The air of the world is toxic, which is why they have to wear the mask when they go through them. But the creatures breathe our air. They come through the portal, no problem breathing oxygen.
Yeah, but they're mystical shadow creatures.
You don't know that. They're just alien dimension characters. Another dimension. But it's another dimension, so who knows?
All right. Well, that sort of plays off my next X point. My next X point is, so in the comics, this dimension he goes to actually has a name, and they call it the Brimstone Dimension.
The dumb name.
Yeah, well, that's what it's called. And a lot of the stuff to do with that is kind of dumb, but we'll talk about that in my next X point. So, continue.
You think Nightcrawler's dad's hanging out down here?
Oh, not in this show.
Is Nightcrawler's dad still red guy?
Yeah, Azazel.
That's it. I couldn't think of his name. I thought maybe they'd retcon that or something.
Not yet.
Okay, back to this.
Oh no, they did retcon that. They did retcon that. Now Mystique is like did it like an Eric Cartman. Now Mystique is Nightcrawler's father, and Destiny is his mother. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So Mystique gender swaps?
She can do that.
So she has sex organs for both, well, like sex inside
make
sex
them.
stuff. You can just like make sperm
She
with
can.
her powers?
Yeah.
What? Okay. What
Who
Amanda
is Eric Cartman's father?
is it Officer Bob Brady? When Amanda asks her to the dance, you see Riley Finn.
Nothing to see here, you looky loos.
Yeah, lucky lows. Yeah, that guy's been in the character forever, or on the show forever. So we see Sidney Finn walking by, or Riley Finn walking by in the background, who's Kitty's old bully from the X Impulse episode, which I thought was kind of, I haven't seen her in a while. Season 1, episode 2. So it's a little while. Nice little nod of like. There's a couple other characters walking around in the background here, and I guess I can make exploits of all of that.
So
But,
here's my next exploit, and probably what makes this episode significant, which is why we should definitely give Boyd Kirkland his shine here, is this is the first time, it hasn't even happened in the comics yet, that they explore Nightcrawler's teleportation realm, or what's going on there. Happened in this series first.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
So they get into it in the Chuck Austin run. Well, I guess that's my next exploit, but yeah, that's a little bit after this. A couple of years after.
I just wanted to point out the voice actress in this series that does that. Hold on one sec. So the voice actress who does the voice of Pietro is a woman, and
Pietro's a woman. Wow.
Yeah, I believe so. So Quicksilver. Let me get this right. But it's Holly Taylor's her name. That's what she's listed as. Canadian actress and dancer known for her role as Angelina Meyer in the Netflix series Manifest. She's born in Hilden, Nova Scotia.
Hilden, Nova Scotia. We got to get her on the show.
Which is right near where I live.
I've never heard of Hilden.
She's from there's a book series called The Fae and the Alchemy series that anyway, yes. I think
you guys are from the same town. Why don't you get her on the show?
I think that's her. I'm not 100% sure.
Well,
but if it is, actually, maybe I can search it this way back here. No, it's not listed as. I'll have to look it up on IMDb. But if it is her, she's from literally the town I live in, which is really funny. If it is actually her, then yeah, we totally should have her on the show.
Yeah, hook that up, Andre.
I'll work on it.
I get you guests all the time. It's your turn.
No.
No.
You can't make.
I shall continue to take and not receive and not give.
That's right.
That's the Christmas spirit.
She was also on. If this is the same actress, she was on The Americans as well, which was a big TV show.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I have a feeling. No, I don't think it's the same person. It must be a different Holly Taylor.
Okay.
But that's Holly Taylor that I discovered that is from The Americans. It's pretty cool.
It's not from Nova Scotia.
No, she is from Hilden, but I don't know if the one that did the voice of Pietro is. Let me look it up while you're doing your next exploit.
My next exploit is just that then they pick up on all this Nightcrawler stuff in the Chuck Austin run. And, it's a much maligned run oftentimes. That the Nightcrawler stuff wasn't the worst of it. I liked it with the Chuck Austin run is why I was buying it off the shelves at the time is it had a ton of Nightcrawler. It just focused on Nightcrawler more than any book had at the time, and I was down with that. But it got really into his like religious side, and like this cult comes after him, and yeah. And then they get into Azazel and all that stuff, and the Bamfs. Really changed his story quite a bit. In some ways, not for the better, which is why they've retconned some of it. That was my last exploit. What's yours?
Yeah. So there was a different person, a gentleman listed on IMDb as the voice of Quicksilver, but for some reason on the wiki for this one, it is listed as Holly Tyler, not Taylor. So that may be where the issue was. But Holly Taylor is from Hilden, Nova Scotia, so that's cool. I'll take some of that.
Get her on the show.
Get her on the show. Let's get on it. So, so they did mention in the past that Nightcrawler had limitations on his travel, like he needs to
about 2 miles, like they said in this. Yeah,
but he also said he needs for visualization of his arrival. However, he teleported into the vault without seeing where he was going.
Yeah, he can do it, and sometimes he does it when it's like short distance, like where he assumes it's just a door and there's space on the other side. But otherwise, like he needs to know there's not a wall there, or at least be pretty certain. So he either has to have been there before, or just have knowledge, like I'm outside a vault, so inside's probably empty space.
What if there was like a
He
big
doesn't like to do that, but he
what if there's a big cabinet in the middle or it's full of stuff?
he'd be screwed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he'd be screwed.
So is that my last point?
Yeah.
Okay, because another one.
All right, hit it.
When Risty sees Forge, she seems somewhat attracted to him, which is more interesting because Mystique seems to be a grown ass man and a grown ass woman, and he's still a teenager.
Maybe they're both from the 70s and she likes his lingo.
But in the comics, didn't the two of them briefly have a thing?
Yes, they led X Factor together.
So there you go.
There you have it, indeed.
There you have it. There you have it.
You know what? I'm going to be right back. So in the meantime, why don't you tell the people about
The Graphic Histories Podcast.
Oh, wow. That was fast. He's already gone. He's gone. That's a cool pillow. Look at that pillow, folks. All right. For those who listen to the audio-only version, as I generally do, Devin's got a pillow with Archangel on it, like the 90s Archangel. That's cool. Anyway, next episode of the Graphic History Podcast. I tried to stifle yawn there. It didn't work. It was Dan Price, creator of a comic called Bigfoot Knows Karate. We talked about that. It's really fun. It's out now. The next episode after that will be with Don Watson, who did some really cool comics work. And we get into his career as well. And then after that, we did. I had a conversation today with Peter Sanderson, who is a comic historian, worked on the Who's Who in the Marvel Universe history comics. Basically got a job with those companies keeping track of continuity and for projects that came out in DC, particularly the Crisis on Infinite Earths and some other things that came later. But definitely a guy knows his stuff, definitely a dude that respects continuity, and definitely a guy that knows a lot about the history of comics characters and has seen all of the good stuff and the bad stuff, and has some great opinions on both. So it was a really cool chat with a really cool guy. And yeah, it was a great talk. And today I just talked with him, but that won't be for a couple weeks before that episode comes out. So you can definitely tune into the Dan Price episode, which is out now. And I'm gonna just double check on my names for the other one. Oh man, my computer's being slow. Devin is sure taking his sweet, sweet time. Where is you, Devin? Dan. So yeah, so let me get to that file. So the Graphic Histories Podcast, work file. Doug Wagner. That's right. He's the person we have next for the next episode. And he is a really cool comic writer who created the comic Plastic, The Hard Place, Gun Candy, The Bride, Vinyl, and currently Fashion School Serial Killer. So yeah, some really cool books from him as well.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Back with a bang, I would say.
I was talking about the other guys, but yes, the Dan Price one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one's really fun. I got Doug Wagner, who
you got him
comic vinyl, plush, plastic. I was a Fashion School Serial Killer, and we had a great talk about horror comics and writing. And then after that, we chat with. Today, I talked with Peter Sanderson.
Oh, how'd that one go?
Good, yeah. Just a wealth of knowledge about DC continuity, DC and Marvel continuity. It's kind of interesting. As a fan of continuity myself, we have some great talks about the two different, Marvel's approach and DC's approach, and of the
DC's approach of resetting it all every so often.
Well, that's what he talks about. Yeah, good conversation about that.
Yeah, man. All right,
so we jump in the other segments, or you just give me that one so that I can talk about something for a while.
Yeah, exactly. We'll jump into the other.
Hey, check it.
All right. Hey, check it. It's our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. Mine has nothing to do with this episode other than the fact that we see Storm for a split second, because I'm going to recommend Storm Life Dream.
Did she dream of life?
Part of the Marvel Voices line. I think Dave Cutler drew one of those, didn't he? Well, yeah,
I believe he did.
Wasn't the Thunder Strike, or not Thunder Strike, Thunderbird one of Marvel Voices?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and they say celebrating 50 years of Earth's Mightiest Mutant. Now, I don't know if they've just started. I think they just started calling her that since she joined the Avengers.
Oh, really?
But well, I've never heard that before. And now she's on the Avengers, so I mean, she is. She's the coolest of the mutants. But anyway, this is an anthology. Everybody check it out. I don't want to spoil it too much or anything, but it centers around these two kind of like interdimensional, like the librarians or like record keepers, I guess. And they've come into their little council, and they've decided that Storm is a person of the past. Like, this is in the future, worthy of like this kind of anointing they give to certain people or characters throughout the universe that are just super awesome or super significant, and they're worthy of like having their entire lives chronicled. So like they even like go back in time. The way they do this is they go back in time and they like kind of like, it's almost like the beaming away by aliens thing people tell, like people who think they've been abducted by aliens. So they sort of like this abduct Storm, copy all of her brain and memories and stuff so they can have an exact copy of her and then send her back without her knowing. But Storm's too awesome for that, so it didn't work, and she gets caught in the whole process, and the thing kind of spins out from there. So it's interesting. Lots of people, lots of good creators. John Jennings. Who else we got? Brittany Morris, Angelique Roche, Curtis Baxter, Charles Stewart III. Alida E. Martinez. Lots of good creators here. Check it out, and it's about.
No, you went mute again. You went mute. I can't hear you, Devin.
You, because I was calling you Stompy McGee on the keyboard over
there. Yeah, I was typing to tell you that you're texting you a message saying that I can't hear you.
Oh, did you hear me say read it because it's about Storm and has great creators?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's all I need to say. All right, what's your comic recommendation?
Talking today with Peter Sanderson about the Who's Who of the DC Universe books and the history of the Marvel Universe books. We talked a little while about the Mark Waid series that did the sort of new sort of history of the Marvel Universe that came out a few years ago, which is kind of a very interesting comic.
Oh, did he do a new one? Did he?
Yeah, a few years ago. That sort of like does a way to kind of make all of Marvel's continuity fit within what we know and what doesn't really age, like Punisher being in the Vietnam War and Ben and Mr. Fantastic being in World War II together.
So they say Punisher was in a different war or something like that?
They kind of moved it up every so many years. Yeah. But within that book, Mark Waid kind of does, it's called The History of the Marvel Universe. Mark Waid does some interesting stuff to kind of retcon it all in, which I think is neat. In which he sort of explains, I believe it's on the Marvel app as well, which I think I might go reread it because I thought I bought it when it came out, but now I'm not sure if I did. And they sort of explain about how, like there was another war that happened in some Asian country that's sort of the fill-in war for Vietnam, not quite, but closer to our timeline, so that it all sort of makes sense in history. So go check that out. Peter spoke very highly of it, and that it has a continuity buff like himself and a guy that knows a lot about comics. Yes, I did read some of these. Yeah. But they're beautiful. Very interesting way to kind of find a way to make it all fit.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. If you're a continuity hound like me and you want your Marvel Universe to make sense, it's a good way to make it happen.
Yeah, I like the kind of soft method Marvel uses. I'd rather than just shift things than completely reboot things.
Yeah, and he does talk about that. So
all right, well, cool. Okay, well, let's move on to our next famed segment.
But I like movies, which is fine.
It's fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's tolerable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see the private chat we have on this?
Yes, I just haven't been paying attention to it, but yes.
All right.
Share my screen.
So the movie. So I was thinking about movies that feature kids with crazy powers that don't really fit into society, And I'm assuming showing a trailer works because it's sort of promotional material. But this movie is called Freak from 1993, starring Alex Winter from Bill.
Oh no, I think Hold Up's been striked by showing trailers before, but go for it
really?
anyway. Yeah, that's why we always have to show it in that little like movie screen with
really?
Fake kind of static going over.
So I just found out today this movie is getting re-released on 4K release from Umbrella.
Oh, you're definitely gonna get a strike then. I remember this. I remember that scene.
So this is a movie starring Alex Winter, hot and fresh off of the Bill and Ted's and the Idiot Box that he had on MTV, which is kind of a popular show. And then he made this movie, which they got a bunch of money for, that is so wild and wacky and insane, but still actually kind of genius in its own way. About a former child star who gets roped in to this guy that runs his own freak show. And we find out he makes his own freaks using crazy technology. That guy being played by Randy Quaid. And then, of course, you run into all the other freaks that are in the freak show. He gets turned into a half kind of monster creature and then stuck in with the rest of the freaks. And they're all really, like, the designs for them are really wild. Like that one, which is
I remember all of this now.
Mr. T is the bearded lady. There's the guy with the giant nose. There's Bobcat Goldthwait does the voice of this guy, which is just a sock puppet for a head. Like it's just a hand in a sock with two eyes on it. It's a very wild movie with some insane images and just crazy all the way through. I don't know if I mentioned Brooke Shields in it as well. He's using an actual mouse there. But there's Mr. T as the bearded lady.
Oh my god, I remember all of this.
So it's a wild and insane movie that's getting a little more attention now, even though it probably definitely has fallen by the wayside of the public being really aware of it.
Oh my god, I got to go back and watch this again. I remember this is all coming back to me. I've definitely seen this.
They're also Keanu Reeves does see that guy there. That's the dog face boy who was using. That is Keanu Reeves. He's uncredited, but he's in the movie as a dog maker. There's Brooke Shields, and you get all these. It's insane. It's like an insane creature feature with some beautiful, crazy effects. That it's wild. This movie got made. It really is. But it's out there, and it's well worth seeing. In fact, I have I was thinking about for my birthday's coming up in a few months, and for my 40th birthday, my wife suggested we do a screening at the local theater, like book it and just show movies I want to see that nobody's really seen that might be interesting to watch for the group. And I think this might be one of them. I really, it's a wild movie that might be fun to watch on a big screen with some friends. So,
give me a ticket. I'll come.
Come on, we're gonna do. Well, actually, it's gonna be even better, Devin. What we're doing is we're doing I should make tickets for it. That's a really good idea. So we're doing a double screening of two movies that I want to watch that I think no one's really seen that my friends know that I think are worth watching, and I'm also gonna afterwards we're gonna go to the bar just down the street that I do the movie nights at and stuff, and I'm going to DJ for the night. So basically just play 90s music, 90s dance music, which is going to be fun.
So you're going to play Sandstorm by Darude?
That's from the 2000s, but yes, probably. Also, I went to the Cypress Hill concert, which happened at Truro on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's cool, man. Truro's been getting some strange shows.
You can share that now. So what do you mean strange? We're getting some great shit. We get Cypress Hill.
That's what I mean. That's strange for Truro.
I just found out, not that I care because it's not at all in my wheelhouse, but some big country stars coming. Clark? Yeah. Something Clark? Terry Clark? Is that right?
Avril Lavigne's coming to town.
I don't think we would get Avril Lavigne. Yeah, Terry Clark and Paul Brandt. I don't know. I'm familiar with the name Terry Clark, but I'm not a big country person, so I won't be going to that. But we did have Ice Cube here, not that in the winter. That was cool. So
Ice Cube and then Cypress Hill.
Mm-hmm.
The rap mecca of
also
Nova Scotia.
Cypress Hill had some cool opening. Actually, they had De La Soul and Farside.
Yeah,
both open for them, which is cool. So
very good.
And at the end, they did "Insane in the Brain," and then I'm like, oh, that must be the end. And then that song, which I forgot, they did "So You Want to Be a Thug Superstar," Big da, da, da. I think it was on the Training Day soundtrack. And then I think it might have been Taz's theme song at one point, the Denver as well. But anyway, they did that, and I was like, oh, well, surely that's the end. And then they brought in all the other bands that were in earlier, and then they got everyone in the audience to take a knee, and they said, like, if you have bad knees or bad back, I'm sorry, but take a knee. Because, like, they're going to do this song together as a tribute to how important this band or this song was to the genre. And I'm like, what are they going to do? And then they fucking started doing Jump Around by House of Pain. Which it was just funny because a lot of people think that's a Cypress Hill song, but it's not. House of Pain.
No,
jump up, jump down.
Jump up and get down.
An Irish band I just discovered. I didn't even know they were
Jump
Irish.
around. Jump up. They were Irish?
Apparently so.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so go watch Freaked. 1993. Alex Winter directed it and stars in it. Freaked.
Yeah, fair enough. Go watch that. I remember it sort of. And it's crazy. All right, so let's try this one then. So we're going to play the rename game for a minute because I thought of the perfect name to rename Wolverine.
Honey Badger?
No.
Barracuda?
So it turns out, because we were trying to come up with other similar animals to rename them that, but that really never worked because we're taking them away from the Canadian setting, among other things.
The Wolverines
but it turns out
Canadian.
The Wolverine actually has a nickname. It's another thing that it's called by people, and that is Skunk Bear. So I think we rename Wolverine Skunk Bear, and all he has to do, it's great because all he has to do is, and some of the X-Men have said that, well, here's the thing. They're called skunk bears because Wolverines, when they're threatened, release a foul odor from their anal glands. And some of the X-Men have said similar things about Wolverine. And all he would have to do costume-wise is just add like a little white stripe down the middle. Not that Wolverines have that, and you have to play the skunk angle up a whole lot. But you could just put a little white stripe down the center or something. Skunk Bear.
I mean, Wolverines are weasels. You can just call them Weasel, too.
Yeah, but there already is a weasel in Marvel and DC.
Also, like, Wolverines are in Alaska. They're not really, like, Canadian. Like,
yes, they are. They're in the Yukon, the Nunavut, Northwest Territories. What makes you think they're? What do you think? The entire Arctic is just Alaska?
No.
Are you Canadian, sir?
But they're mostly found in Alaska.
That's crazy. What makes you think that?
Because I just read it on vocabulary.com.
Oh, vocabulary.com doesn't know anything about Wolverine.
I'm like howlers. I don't know. I don't like Skunk Bear. It's terrible.
Skunk Bear.
Well, you know what? In Truro, they have a mascot, which is a creature. So the hockey team is called the Bearcats because that actually is a thing. So it's also known as a binturong. But it's an Asian, like kind of small bear. But it does kind of look like Wolverine, so that would kind of work too. I'd say Bearcat would be my other name for it.
Bearcat or Skunk Bear. All right, we'll send it to the X-Goons.
Bearcat says better than Skunk
Bearcat or Skunk Bear. Well, we'll see what the X-Goons say.
Okay.
All right, you can support our show. Oh, you know what? We're missing one thing. We have to do one thing here.
He's the coolest teacher we got around here, and the nicest. Wait, you're forgetting your homework.
That's false advertising. Am I neither the coolest nor am I the nicest? Watch the next episode of the series. That episode being season 2, episode 14, Retreat. Let me look up something. Retreat, Evolution. It looks like we have some of the side characters in this episode based on the screen I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think it's got the New Mutants in it.
In order to help a depressive beast out of his slump, Shadowcat arranged a field trip with the New Mutants, which include Spike, Sunspot, Wolfsbane, and Iceman. However, hunters catch Beast, thinking him to be Bigfoot. The young mutants must save their teacher from a life in captivity.
No, they're not entirely wrong.
I like
Dude, it's just a party. Time to shake that tail. Woohoo! Party
Party, party, party!
Well, I just think was thinking about our trying to cast the X-Men, and it seems like they're not going to skew as young as we had earlier thought.
Well, I mean, honestly,
it's not
based
going to
on
be
what-
the Sadie Sinks of the world and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean in total? Why? Because of Magneto?
Well, that's pretty interesting.
That's
too.
just who they
Day-Lewis
want,
as Magneto
but it's
would be
necessarily-
amazing. No, but if this is like the thing, like if the rumor of Patrick Schwarzenegger as Cyclops is true, then that's going to put them more in their 30s, the main X-Men, rather than like the Sadie Sink, like 20 basically. Because Sadie Sink, it looks like, is going to play Mayday Parker in Brand New Day. She's not going to play an X-Men at all. So I think they actually are going to skew older for the main X-Men, and I think that's a good
Mayday
idea.
Parker?
Yeah.
Peter Parker's daughter?
Yeah.
How is that working?
Who knows? It's all multiversal stuff these days. So that's the rumor. Because she is going to be in that movie, and it never made sense to me that Jean Grey was going to be in Brand New Day. So yeah, I think we could one of these days soon, maybe we'll redo our cast list with an older cast, but not today. Because Patrick Schwarzenegger actually looks like Cyclops, and I'm okay with that. And I didn't really like the idea of them bringing in Cyclops and Jean and stuff as 20-year-olds, because then it's just there's too much time before, because most of the other X-Men that come after that are younger than that. Like if we want to meet characters like the New Mutants, or even a lot of the X Factor characters, or like the newer group of mutants that come later in Morrison's run and Aaron's run and all that stuff. They're all like, you don't want to wait for these Cyclops and Jean and stuff to age up before you can start bringing in younger characters, So I think this is better. I think this is a better idea.
Yeah, maybe.
And Daniel Day-Lewis as Magneto, if that's true. We weren't really hoping for a British actor, but man, that is something.
I mean, it'd be cool, but it doesn't seem like something he would do.
No, but imagine it though, because he's such a all in on a roll kind of guy, Interesting. He'd be an interesting Xavier too, even though Xavier's not British. But anyway, we'll see where they go with it. I like the idea of them skewing a bit older though. So that's it. Support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show. Get your merch over at redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show/shop. You can contact us if you want over at X-Men Review Show at gmail.com, or hit me up on the Facebooks. Find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, review, and subscribe. And check out our whole family of podcasts over there at the United Federation of UFPodcast.com, I should say. Check out Michael Chan's new show, Heard Noise Must Investigate. It's been going strong. I've been enjoying it. They're short episodes, which I enjoy, because that's not the usual in our podcast network.
Not usually. I mean, mine usually skews about an hour, a little like an hour, hour and a half, usually delayed at the most.
His is like 15 minutes.
Your hold up one, which
it's
you can't
nice
listen
digestible.
Your hold up one, which I can't listen to now because you don't do audio anymore.
I'm gonna load it up on audio despite Murphy's
9 hours long
protestations.
And then the guys that do the movie when I was on is like 4 hours long.
Well, we've gotten hold up down to 2 hours pretty much.
That's still too far. Too much.
Yeah, maybe. But for 3 movies, it's not bad. But yeah, they can be long nights. But that's it. That's it for us here. Anything else to say to the people?
Well, just be kind to each other, Love, laugh, live. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end her. Catch you next time.
It was weird, like being in a slow motion movie or something.
Because we're so entertaining.